Welcome to Roadside History. Today I'm near Lake Powell. I'm actually about, 10 miles west of a place called Lee's Ferry. I'm at a place called Cliff Dwellers. Cliff Dwellers is an interesting place. You can see the cliffs all around me here. And these rocks have fallen off the side of the mountain, worked their way down. You can see that rock in front of us. It's been weathered, so it looks like it's standing on something. Anyway, used to be people that lived in this area, and hence it's called Cliff Dwellers. They built their homes underneath these rocks to protect them from the elements. And the area that you're looking at are the remnants of what's left here. I'm going to tell you more about this area here in a brief story. Thanks for joining us. If you haven't already liked and subscribed to my channel, please do so.
This area, known as Marble Canyon, was named by John Wesley Powell in 1872 as part of the Powell expedition that came down the Grand Canyon. Powell would name it Marble Canyon because of some of the polished limestone that you would see on the walls. It became polished from the Colorado River. Later in 1969, Marble Canyon would become a national monument and protected area named by President Johnson. Later in 1975, this area, Marble Canyon, was incorporated into the Grand Canyon by President Ford. And today it's on the western edge of the Navajo Nation Indian Reservation. But the dwelling that you've been walking through is the largest of the dwellings here in this area. You see the great big stone that sits on top and then the bricks that were laid and put in. This is not a pre-Columbian era housing dwelling. This is something that came around in the 1920s. As you can see, the wood in the window sills has been milled, as well as the wood on the rafters here at the top. So where did this come from? And there, the doorway and the other window, you can see the milled wood. Where did these buildings come from and why are they here? Well, that's part of a greater story. The sandstone in the area buried the heavier rocks. But over generations and generations of time, as wind and water would erode the lighter sandstone away from the rocks, it would give these rocks the appearance that they were standing alone.
We're coming up on another little dwelling here. It's built entirely underneath this giant rock. We're going to go in here, but if this rock were to fall, there'd be nothing left of me.
It's an interesting history about this area. Some would argue that a young lady by the name of Blanche Russell and her husband Bill Russell came through this area, a little over a century ago when their car broke down, and they began to establish little dwellings for people to stay in as they worked their way back and eventually worked their way into a lodge. But history would say otherwise, that the lodge was owned and financed by another individual.
Time for a dad joke. I suppose if that rock were to fall, it'd be a smashing hit. My kids would laugh at that one for sure. And they'd come up with a million more puns to add to it. Feel free to add your puns in the comments below. I guess if I were wandering around and you can see some of these rock formations here, if one of these rocks were to fall, it would be crushing.
These centuries-old dwellings are a great stop along your way on Highway 89 as you're going past Lee's Ferry. A couple of 100 feet past this area here is the actual Marble Canyon Lodge, which was built in the 1920s before the Navajo Bridge in 1929. It's an easy stop on your route, one that you should take a moment to stop and see and enjoy.
I guess it's probably safe to say the individuals who lived in this area in this very dry climate. Right now it's actually not too bad. It's about 95 degrees outside. Normally it's quite a bit hotter, but we got some cloud cover because there's been some summer monsoon rains. But I'd say the individuals who lived in this area, they probably had a real rocky life.